Hi friends, MD Vegan. I'm back with a cake. I love Life Bakery. Once in a while I make a cake. These days I didn't make so many because I was pretty much alone on myself, on my own here. But it's also good sometimes to be on my own, I found. I was always with community, and so now for some time it's also nice to have a little focus on myself. I mean, the internet is always on, of course. There are thousands of people all over the world. It's also new to me. It's fascinating. Since YouTube and so, the world is opening up. But also inside here, my little apartment here, I stay on my own, pretty much. That's also cool. Okay, long story, doesn't matter now. I'm back with a cake. Doesn't matter, I will eat it. It's a small one here. Springform, that's very important. For Life Bakery, I have these springforms. This is a medium to small one. Large ones are for many people, of course. But this one I can do with. I have always a nice sweet thing, and it's healthy. We make a raw food cake. Life Bakery is raw. And then I line it here with parchment paper. I have to get it easier off from the cake, from the form, spring form. And I will make the simple cake is a cheesecake with cashews. And I show you some things with that in a moment. But to make the cake, I first make a bottom with almonds. Food processor. Yeah. Food processor is since I have this processor, I can make these wonderful cakes with the bottom with just nuts and dates, for example, or other dried fruit. Here. With the S-plate, I process the nuts. I show you like here for the small form. I need not so many, that is 1.5 cups of almonds. First I put the blade in, that's important. You can put the blades afterwards, so you have to first put the blades first. And then the almonds. Yeah. And I found that if I process the almonds first, before the dates help to make it a sticky dough. First we need the almond flour. You can also take almond flour. If you have almond flour, take that. And like the almond flour. Oops. That took me 2 minutes or so, not more. But you don't need to see all that. It just takes so much time for the video. It's a long video anyway with the cake. Yeah. So I shorten a little bit, I cut a little bit the clips here. This is the flour. You see the coarse flour, coarse meal. Yeah, coarse, yeah, like this. But I do it first before I put the dates in, like now. You see that it's a dozen dates maybe. But the more dates you take, the easier it will be to get it dough sticky. You have to make the dough sticky to press it in the spring form, and then when you cut a piece of the cake doesn't fall apart. That's also nice, or nice to have. It's not necessary, but it's nice to have, you know. So a dozen dates or so is a good amount. That makes it easy. If you take less dates, you can do that also. You have to press a little harder then with the dough. I'll show you in a moment. But if you don't want to have the dough so sweet, yeah, you just take less date. That's also nice. That's also good. Yeah. And I have some cinnamon here. I like that together with the blueberries. The blueberry cheesecake and cinnamon is perfect for blueberries. So I put some into the dough right away. So now I process again until the dough is sticky, and I come back and show you. Now that's a little bit more, maybe 3 minutes or so, just to give you an idea. Not too much, but I show you now what the sticky dough looks like here, in my case. See, that's sticky, and you see that it's sticky, that when it sticks together. I put it into my fingers, press a little bit, and now here it sticks together. That's a sticky dough. That's what I needed. So, I take it now directly to the spring form. I remember it was lined with parchment paper here. That's the easy one. And now I put it in, all of it. And it always depends if you want to have a thicker dough. It's nice also because this dough really is a perfect sweet. You can eat this dough, you press it into balls, for example, have energy balls. You just take almonds or any nut you want, and any dried fruit you want, dates or figs or whatever you like, raisins, even that is possible, all dried fruit, and then you do it in the same way, and then you process it and make balls, the energy balls. So you can eat it by itself. So you can make a dough that is really thick, and it is a nice part of the cake. It's a different kind of cake. You have more dough, thicker dough. So I have here, I would say, a medium dough, not too much bottom. And first I spread the sticky dough evenly, in the spring form, using my hand. And once it's evenly spread, I begin to press it down with the knuckles of my fist like this. And I come back in a moment from the outside to the inside. First, the outside. And it has to be firm now. This is an important work. Usually when you make a cake, the kneading of the dough, the traditional cake with the baking and so, then you knead the dough. That's the most important thing of all when you're doing a cake and a bread and so on. The kneading is so important. And this way is also important. A little bit you have to do that work. Give you my body weight to press it down, and I come back in a moment when it's done. But this, as I said, takes some time because it's so important for the dough, for the bottom to stick together, to keep together when I cut out a piece. It's my sticky dough. My bottom is done here. I'll show you. I think that it looks beautiful, right? And here you see it's pretty firm. Can you hear it? I pressed for a while, and even especially the sides here. With the finger I went around firmly, because when you cut the piece out of the cake, it begins always to fall out on the sides. When the sides are firmer, special firm, then it is easier to have the whole piece. But in the inside also, I go back and forth and so. But you will notice when you do it. One thing I have to say. When you make the sticky dough with the food processor, don't over-process. When you take too much time, you process too long. And the first time I made it, the first cake I remember many years ago, the first live bakery, I over-processed. I didn't know. I was afraid, well, how much do I need? How much time? And so I over-processed, and then I had marzipan. You can make marzipan with that, with walnut and with almonds. You process, and then you have marzipan. And the dates and so. But you don't want to have marzipan, you want to have a sticky dough. That's it. So, no all processing, but it's okay. Through 3 minutes or so, you'll see it. You'll see it. So now I put it aside. Now I make the filling. The filling, of course, is another whole other story. It's also important because the filling needs to keep together too, and it have the right texture. And a classical way to make a filling is a cashew nut. I have cashews here, a nice amount for this filling here, for this form. I have a little bit more than 2 cups of cashews here. And I set it as a cheesecake, meant to be a cheesecake. So to be precise, I would make a fermented cheese. I would put some probiotics in there, some bacteria cultures. Then they would ferment it, and I had a real cheesecake. But I don't need to do that. I can make it very easy without the bacteria. I can use something that is similar to cheese, to the texture. And that is, for example, what helps is is a banana. Banana, a very simple tool, but there's 4 bananas, I think, a lot of fiber. And the fiber makes really, gives a little bit of similarity to the cheese texture together with the cashews. So that's very nice. And also it adds sweetness to the cheese. And I put the bananas first because the blender has a little bit issues with the cashews. That takes longer for the blender. The bananas are easier for the blender to blend. So bananas first, then the cashews. First before the cashews, I put the lemons and the dates. That's easier for the blender, I would say. The cashews come last. So we have 1 lemon here. That's also for the cheese flavor. Cheese is a little bit sour from the fermentation. And the dates also adding to the texture and to the flavor. Balance of the lemon flavor still remains. There's a large lemon, but it is a little bit nicer with the dates, I would say. So if you don't want to have that sweet, take the dates out, but I think it's nice for texture and flavor both. Lemon, and now on top the cashews. Oops. So cashews on top, because this has to be blended first, then the blender gets going and pulls everything down. I hope it works. Let's see. Blender dance. It's not blended completely. As you can see, there are some cashews on top, so it's a little bit firm now. Yeah. That's here a little bit of problem, but it's I expected that, so I have a little tool here to put the cashews down into the mass, into the dough, into the filling, and it is firm. The cheesecake, yes, has to be a little firm. So one more blending when I put it down. Let's see if it works. I think it's good enough. What always happens when you have a firm mass here, directly above the blades, when it turns, there's a light, the air bulb, the air bubble that builds over the blades. And then the rest of the mass cannot be going through the air bulb, the bubble, and going to the blades. So that keeps the whole mass from being processed. But I still think it's okay, because now I have the last ingredient that was missing to make the cheese firm. Otherwise, if I do not put a thickener in there, the cheese would not really firm up. So what I need to do here is a cacao, for example, a coconut oil, for example. I have 3-4 tablespoons of coconut oil, heaping tablespoons, on a water bath, hot water, and here the coconut oil is already ready, runny, liquid, and as liquid it will help the dough, the filling, to be processed. Yeah? It will go into the filling, and as liquid it will make it easier for the blender to get the job done. So it should work. Let's see if it works. Otherwise I can put water into the dough, into the filling, but if the water makes it runnier, I want to have it firmer. So less water is better in this case. So with a runny oil, let's see. Looks good to me. See, that looks creamy now. That's what we want. The filling has to be creamy. I will taste it with a small spoon, a teaspoon, if it's really creamy or if it needs more blending. No, it's creamy. It becomes cheese-like. So that's, yeah, it becomes cheese-like. So it's it. It will be a cheesecake. Yes. So What I do now, I put the filling into the springform. I show you how I begin. I begin with a small, the thin layer here on the bottom, like this. That's what the filling looks like. I begin on the bottom because when I put the blueberries in, and I like my cake, like fruit cakes, with a lot of fruit and a small amount of filling, because I love fruits more than filling. The filling is only a tool, a medium to hold the fruit. It's my idea of a fruit cake. You know? So a cheesecake can have more cheese or less cheese. It's a lot of fat in the cheesecake and nuts, and so I'm going to reduce a little bit and I put more fruits. I think that's a good idea. So here I have my blueberries, you see, beautiful fresh blueberries. They go in there now. And now I will put the blueberries in. And you need a lot. You know, if you want to have a lot of blueberries in the other fruit in a cheesecake, you really need a lot. Yeah, I always have too little. Yeah, because at first I think, oh, I have a lot of fruit of blueberries, and then I make the cake and I take the cake out, cut a piece, and I think, oh, where are all the blueberries? It always happens the same thing. Somehow the blueberries, they get smaller, or I don't know what happens. It's always the same. I always put too little fruit, so that's why I say I need a lot of fruit. So I put a lot of fruit in there. You see it's really full with fruit, you see. Now I put the rest of the filling on top, and then I will try to combine everything so that all the blueberries are coated by this cheesecake filling. It looks pretty nice because I have the whole form, the whole spring form seems to be full, but not that full. It is sufficiently full to make a nice cake. And as I have a lot of blueberries, as I hope, it will be a nice cake. It's a cheesecake, but still a lot of fruit. And that is nice. That's exactly what I want. So I put most of the cheesecake in there, the cheese filling now in there. I scrape it out. My tool here. Now I have to take a spoon and swirl it around a little bit. Careful now. All the blueberries. I don't mash the blueberries here. I want to be careful. I just want to have them all coated in the filling. That looks, yes, it's okay. It looks good. Yeah, that looks good. Just a little bit helping so that the blueberries are really all incorporated. Yeah, it's easy. It's an easy job. First time I'm doing it here, and the rest of the blueberries go in there too. Chop on top. I use all. Put them on top. It's still a lot of cheesecake. I mean, a lot of cheese filling too, but also a lot of blueberries. I will see that first, the result, when I cut the first piece out of the cake. Then I will see how many blueberries are in every piece. That is really, I tell you, it's so amazing. It always seems the question comes up: where are all the blueberries gone? Where have they gone? But let's see. I have a chance now, at least, that I have a nice amount of blueberries in my cheesecake. Make it nice, of course. I want to have a nice surface. Can look a little bit swirly, that's okay. So, that's it. Wonderful. Has a cheesy flavor to it. Here, I put a little foil on top, then goes into the refrigerator. I sit there overnight, and then I show you tomorrow, that's for you in some seconds, the same video, I cut out a piece. So see you in a moment. Hi, here it is, one day or one night better later. It was in the fridge, and I put a little foil on top. You can see this here, I show you just a foil here, and I will leave it on top when I take it back into the refrigerator. I don't throw it away, it's a waste, but it is important because if I don't use it and just put a plate on top, what happens, I did that before, try to save the foil, what happens is then here are all these puddles. Now, the water condensing from the cake falls down on the cake, and it then is puddles. That's not beautiful. It's really not nice. You want to have a nice surface like this one, yeah, you need this foil. Plate wouldn't be enough. It needs to be tight, yeah, snug to the surface. Here I pull it off. And I keep it, of course. I try to save it as long as I can. As long as I eat this cake piece by piece, I put it back in the fridge and put it back on. But for now, you show the cake. I show the cake, my blueberry cheesecake that I made yesterday. And now I have to open it. And that is always the thing. Here's the springform. I can open the springform easily here. And it's a good one. It's a high quality one, so it's easy to use. But the sides sometimes cause a problem as they stick to the cake, and if I open it just right now without anything, there could be a crack in the cake. So it can happen, but I have to test it. So in case it will happen, I put the knife around. I'll show you in a moment. First, maybe it works without the knife. Let's see. Try to open it without the knife. And I'm looking for cracks in the surface, because in that case I would have to use the knife. I don't see cracks so far. Seems to work. Okay, I use it. Drum beats in the background. That's the water coming from that plant. I have watered it just before, and now the water comes through. It's a drum beat. I catch the water under the plant. There's a catcher. it's nice and flow, right? The drum beat perfectly. It works. Yeah, I just use the knife anyway here. Now I can take off the springform, and the cake holds. Wow. And that's what it looks like. I think it's a nice shape. It's a nice texture. You want to make a cheesecake like this with cashews, basically, and bananas for the texture a little bit, and then coconut oil. Then you have the question, how much coconut oil? And if you take too much, the cake will be too firm. The texture will be too firm and it's not very nice. I had that once in a cake. It was so firm, I almost bit into, well, that was too dry then. Dry and firm, too much coconut oil. But with too little coconut oil, it is all too soft, and then you don't have a cake. No, the pieces, they don't hold. So you have to find a balance, how much coconut oil. As I said, for this, you can watch the video again. I would say 3 to 4 heaping tablespoons coconut oil. You liquefy it then, and then that should be enough for 2 or the third cup maybe of cashews, and the rest, the banana is also important. Now I use a knife to cut the cake. One piece, I want to have one piece to show you. So I just cut out one piece, that's easy. I have to put the knife into the center of the cake, into the ground, and then carefully drive it through the cake. Make sure the bottom is cut. I can't miss here. And I take the small knife to hold the side. It's a soft cake, of course. The cheesecake is soft, so I don't want to have it fall apart on the sides. I want to deform it too much. Now the second cut. The first cut went well. I think again into the middle, push a little bit over the middle. So, I want to have a beautiful piece. Yeah, it's a soft cake, and it will harden up in the coming days. I won't eat that cake all the time, in one go, of course. I eat maybe 1 or 2 pieces a day. It's a rich cake. You can eat it for breakfast. It's just nuts and fruit. That's it, basically. A little coconut oil is a little bit heavy, but it's not much. So it's nuts and fruit, basically, that is a super breakfast or a nice dessert. And it's not heavy in the body. Huh? And a baked cake with hot cake, that is always heavier to my experience. These cakes are really nice. They are nutritious, healthy, and pretty light. Yeah. So I will put that cake back in the fridge and have some days, maybe 4 or 5 days, maximum a week, to eat it. If not, a friend comes by and we eat it together, or 2 friends, doesn't matter. And these days, not so likely, but it could happen then the cake is over soon. I can also freeze it in the freezer, no problem. Yeah, it works. Put it on a plate, and I show you in a moment my beautiful blueberry cheesecakes. Tastes wonderful. And here you see, actually, how many blueberries I got into the cake. And see here, there is a center where it's not much blueberry. And I was surprised, where are these blueberries gone? They're all here, but they are not as many as I thought. I thought there were more. You see, there's a lot of blueberries. You saw that in the video. But still, there's a lot of space without blueberries. So who would have thought, yeah? But it's a nice piece, and I'm happy I have so many blueberries here. Maybe I could have used more even, you see, here and there, some more. But I'm happy with this. And who knows, other places in the cake might have even more blueberries. As that's my goal for this cheesecake. I want to have mostly blueberries, and the cheese, yeah, cashew cheese is meant to be only holding the blueberries mainly. It's a little balance, because you have too little cheese, then it falls apart, and too much, and you have only cheese. And cheese is the heavy part here, and blueberries the light part. So the lighter the better, and blueberries are wonderful. Yeah, that's my basic idea for a live bakery with blueberry cheesecake. I'm very happy. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will like your like. I'm happy when you do that on my channel, and you can subscribe to MD Vegan on YouTube. Have another recipe every single day, and find me on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and Twitter.